Joining me is Arapahoe Park jockey Travis Wales, and if anyone is qualified to talk about the three breeds of horses that race at Arapahoe Park, Thoroughbreds, quarter horses, Arabians, it's Travis Wales, because he's one of the only jockeys in the United States that rides all three breeds, and he's one of the best at it too, because in 2014 at Arapahoe Park, he led all jockeys with most wins aboard Thoroughbreds, most wins aboard Arabians, and top 5 aboard quarter horses as well. It's a pleasure to have you on the show, Travis. Thank you for joining us.
Good to be back with the 2015 season here in Arapahoe, so hopefully we start out on the right foot and continue on the success we had last year. So.
Oh, absolutely, and so you're going to give us the tips on these three horses, and let's start out maybe going from shortest to longest with the quarter horses. What is the success for being a jockey aboard quarter horses?
Well, for me, it's just the business and the people that I surround myself with. Fortunately, Tommy Swan's one of my major contributors, and it starts with her kind of believing me in the beginning anyway. She's probably the one that got me started riding them, and I get on her horses and I have confidence riding them. So it starts from her and someone that trusts me, win, lose, or draw, and from that just builds my confidence and helps throughout the year.
So it's getting good horses, it's having the confidence. Now with the quarter horses, those races will last anywhere from about 15 to 25 seconds. So you don't have a lot of time to plan out a strategy. What is the strategy going into the gate for a quarter horse versus when you're riding a thoroughbred or an Arabian?
I think having a little familiarity with them and then having the calmness in the gait and maybe a little trust there between them. I mean, the brakes, everything in a quarter horse race, you don't have any room for error there, so you want to be as calm as you can be and keep the horse focused, so when you brake, you'll have maybe that advantage at the right second to maybe beat the gate a little bit and get a head start maybe with the quarter horses and footing too. I mean, the first couple of jumps are important because they need to get the footing first, and without that, you know, you might be 2 or 3, half a length back, and that could be the difference in a win in a quarter horse race.
That's very interesting to hear, because the quarter horse races being so short, you might think, oh, you know, let's get the horse revved up, amped up. No, it's actually a calmness before the race. Now, what about for thoroughbreds? Thoroughbreds is what we see with the Triple Crown races, with the big $100,000 races at the end of the season at Arapahoe Park. There's the combination of speed and also endurance. What does it take to be a good thoroughbred jockey?
Again, you know, it starts with having good business and stuff like that. I have a good agent. I'm fortunate to have a few calls in every race, so it kind of starts from there. That makes my job easier, and then I think what's actually helped me throughout my career is probably the experience. I mean, I've been riding for 20 years, and I think by now I should have learned something along the way to put me in position to be successful. So that's it. I think right now I bank a little bit more on my experience, and then secondly, definitely your athleticism. I mean, I think maybe when I was younger, I thought athletically I could do all of it, and actually there's like 2 different things to do. You have to focus, be fit enough to ride, and be athletic enough yet handle your business at the same time. So there's 2 different things you have to look at.
What are some of the athletic traits that you need to be a good jockey?
You have to have good legs and good air, especially here in Denver with the air. You use the first couple of rides, you know, you'll get winded, but after that, you're fit enough, and after you come out of Denver, you can pretty much ride anywhere with the altitude. So. Now,
Thoroughbreds is the most common breed that races at Arapahoe Park and also that races in the United States, and you could be riding anywhere from just 1 up to maybe 5, 6, or 7 Thoroughbreds in one day. What is your preparation to be riding so many horses in one day? Have you ridden them all in morning workouts? Are you getting on some of them for the first time? What's the strategy that goes into riding the best race and then knowing that you're going to have to do it again 25 minutes later?
Well, fortunately, every year I can kind of go off with my success from the previous year, and I already have horses to come back to that I'm familiar with from years past. So that gives me a little bit of an edge too. Plus, I have a good agent, Brad Fowler, who I've had the last 3 years. And since coming here for the last probably 10 years, we kind of have built a community of people we ride for. So having that comfort to just being able to show up, you know, do my due diligence in the morning at the work, and trying to please those people in the morning and get to know their horses again in case they have some new ones. I think that helps tremendously.
How do you pick your strategy in terms of horses going to the front or coming from behind? Do you let the race unfold? Do you think about that ahead of time? What's the mental preparation for being a jockey?
Just like anything, I do your homework. Maybe like in the NFL, you study the offense and you have a plan of attack to defend, the Patriots or whoever it is. And that's the same thing I do when I ride. We have a form, we have programs, and actually now we have, apps we can look up where you can look at previous horses maybe you're racing against and kind of get an idea maybe what their strengths are or maybe their weaknesses and take advantage of them.
So there's a big preparation ahead of time, and you brought up football. In football, you sometimes have to audible a play. Do you ever audible as a jockey?
Absolutely. I mean, I always have a plan B. I have an expectation of how I think the race is going to play out, and I have a plan B where if I know a certain way it's unfolding, then automatically I just have I have an understanding of, okay, this is going to happen, so this is where I'm going to be. So I kind of know ahead of time. It's kind of, I don't know. I think that's where the experience comes in. I've been here before. This is what happened in previous races. This is what's going to happen now. And don't panic. There's a lot of room to make up, and I always seem to kind of find my way there.
So it's like a quarterback. You run through your progressions, your
Exactly.
first option, second option,
Exactly.
third option.
Perfect.
Horse racing
Perfect.
as football.
Perfect.
And so we've talked about riding the quarter horses, the real drag race horses, getting out of the gates quickly. We've talked about the thoroughbreds where there's some sort of strategy involved. Now you have the Arabians, and the Arabians are a very majestic breed. They don't run as fast, but they run longer. They're built quite differently. You're one of the few that rides all three breeds, so how do the Arabians come into the mix?
It took me probably a little bit to understand them. I think that's the key with the Arabs. You kind of have to understand them, understand what their pace is. It's a certain pace. The good ones go a faster pace that's above the norm, and then when you ride the normal ones, you can't ride them like a stake horse. I mean, so you can't override them per se. So basically, like I say, I have an agent. He kind of puts me on the better one. I can place a horse where I think I need to be, and maybe take advantage of some other riders that aren't really experienced in knowing exactly how much they can really use in a race. So
when we watch the races on television, we'll see the pace, and we'll have the benefit of watching the clock. First quarter mile went in 22 seconds. Oh, they're blazing along. First quarter mile went in 24 seconds. They're going a little slower. It's going to be a more tactical race. Now, when you're on the track, do you have the sense of how fast your horse is going? Can it even be as precise as you say, you know what, we went 23 to the quarter? How is your judging of pace when you're actually in the race and don't have the benefit of seeing a stopwatch or anything?
I think that depends on the type of horse that you're riding. So let's say you have a Arab and a Thoroughbred. Well, 6 furlongs, an Arab's probably going to go in 24 and change and 25. So that's an expectation of 49.50 at the half, and then a good one's 117, going 6. But basically about 120 for the average one. So it's a feel. Basically for me, it's a feel. It's not like I'm counting time or anything. I just been here for this track. I just kind of know. And of course, stake horses, it's about keeping an honest time. I mean, if you can stay within 22, 45, 111, 110, and then maybe a stake race, I think it gives your horse an opportunity to have a chance to win. You always want to put your horse, give him the opportunity to win. You don't want to be maybe overconfident and think you're going to outrun everybody and do something that's, I don't know. I always try to just use what I need to win. So.
It sounds like there's such an intuitive nature with the horse and also with the timing. It's almost like being a chef and knowing, oh, my steak's done, even though you didn't really time it on the clock. So to wrap up the three breeds, you've ridden more winners at Arapahoe in the past year than any other jockey, 55 total in terms of the three breeds, and that was 25 more than anybody else. And been riding for a very long time. Do you have a favorite quarter horse you've ridden of all time?
Oh, no, you didn't, obviously, because I run the Rocky Mountain, grade 3. So yeah, that's probably the one that stands out. And probably my first grade 3, so I think I'd have to tip my hat for that particular horse, yeah, definitely.
Favorite thoroughbred?
Oh, I've had a lot of those. I think the one that were probably more noticeable is this guy right here, Wally Van. Every time I've seen him ride him, it's in a stake, and he's Colorado bred, and it seems to be like maybe a hometown favorite per se, you know, I mean.
I won a Colorado Horse of the Year, and the confidence too. When you win aboard a horse that you like and is so successful, that must be a tremendous rush.
I like it because me and Wally, we've gone back since he was a 2-year-old, and I won his first race, and then I won probably his first stake. So I think it's the team, you know, when just two people kind of haven't seen each other get on the same team, and it just clicks, everything works, it's just kind of great, you know, and I think I enjoy that. I mean, I enjoy the little moments, and with the owners that stuck by me throughout the years, you know, that's for me. I like the moments, you know, and you only last like 2 or 3 seconds, but in that moment, it's like the world just happened, you know.
Euphoria almost, big
Exactly.
adrenaline rush. And Arabians, you have a favorite Arabian you've ridden over the years?
Oh,
And now this shows, for someone who's ridden so many winners, he has to take some time to think about it.
You probably know him. He's one that went to Kentucky after he raced here, and I won the mile and a quarter race with him.
TM Fred Texas.
Yes, that's TM Fred Texas, definitely.
And TM Fred Texas, not only one of the best Arabians in Colorado, he was one of the best Arabians in the world, winning a $250,000 stakes race in Dubai. So a lot of thrills over the years, and be sure to follow Travis Wales Mounts because they're generally going to win. Travis, thank you for joining us, giving us a little bit of insight into the 3 breeds. Arapahoe Park, so unique in terms of thoroughbreds, quarter horses, and Arabians. So when you come out to the track, you'll see Travis riding with many different strategies, a lot to keep track of, but nobody does it better than this guy. Thank you, Travis.
I appreciate it, and I hope to see you all at Arapahoe Park this summer.